right, another beautiful Sunday evening is here, day number 11 in the month of May, the year 2025. Good evening and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gwell PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. And our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to read all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. Now, we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0538 037353. 0538 037353. When the time is ripe, and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. It is now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last weekend.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has expanded its operational fleet with the addition of 15 brand new trucks aimed at boosting the efficiency of port operations. The 400 and 430 horsepower Sinotrack Haulage tractors with 60-ton flatbed trailers form the first batch of a total of 30 trucks procured by the authority. The remaining 15 are expected to be delivered next month. This acquisition comes at a time when the Port of Tema continues to experience significant cargo growth, creating a pressing need to expand the cargo handling equipment fleet. According to the director of the Port of Tema, Tibon Zuma, the addition of these trucks is part of a broader strategy to reduce cargo turnaround times and ensure prompt delivery to stakeholders within the port.
The objective is to make sure that our trucks should go and wait for the containers, but not for the containers to come and wait for the trucks. So we believe we will achieve it. Our customers should just be patient with us. We give ourselves the next 1 week, 2 weeks. I believe they'll see the difference.
He disclosed that a structured plan is in place to deploy trained personnel to operate the trucks on fixed work schedules to maximize their efficiency.
We have also gone ahead to train 60 drivers who will run shifts. And we believe that once we have control over these drivers, we are good to go and we'll be able to clear the backlog.
On his part, the Director General of GPHA, Brigadier General Paul Seydou Tanyo Kulono, assured importers and exporters of improved operational support following the arrival of the trucks.
So our brothers, importers and exporters, we want to assure you that we are working hard. We are going to get another set within the next 2 weeks, and hopefully this problem of congestion. Thank you very much.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seydou Tanyo Kulono, has paid a working visit to the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Godwin Levinus Bessing, at the Naval Headquarters in Accra. The visit, both symbolic and strategic, was to congratulate Rear Admiral Bessing on his appointment and to cement the crucial relationship between GPHA and the Ghana Navy, two institutions central to the country's maritime industry. The two leaders discussed areas for deeper collaboration, especially in maritime security, joint training opportunities, and infrastructure development.
Your support when it comes to the provision of security within and beyond the anchorage area of our ports will be well emphasized. Without your support, I'm sure we'll be overwhelmed by these pirates and other criminals.
We know the role Ghana Ports and Harbours plays when it comes to the maritime industry, and it is really a big one. So as stakeholders, all we can do is to support each other to see that we arrive at a common goal. It is the economic development and prosperity of our nation that should be at heart. And I think mutually, if we put our strengths together, we should be able to achieve that.
A major highlight of the conversation was how the Western Naval Command and GPHA can work more closely to optimize the use of the oil and gas service terminal in Takoradi, which has been built to provide adequate port logistical support to Ghana's upstream oil and gas activities. This engagement forms part of a renewed push to align national security and port efficiency in support of Ghana's economic growth. The two institutions expressed mutual commitment to work together toward a more secure and efficient maritime space.
The Ghana Chamber of Shipping, an advocacy think tank made up of seasoned and accomplished maritime professionals representing various shipping interests, has paid a courtesy call to the Director General of GPHA to usher in an era of renewed collaboration between the two organizations. This meeting is expected to initiate a series of strategic meetings and discussions with the Director General of GPHA with the goal of enhancing the shipping sector in Ghana. The delegation, led by the Chamber's President, Stanley Raja-Aholu, also used the opportunity to formally brief the Director General on their upcoming industry forum. The forum is expected to focus on contemporary issues affecting the shipping industry and provide a platform for stakeholder dialogue and policy advocacy.
One of the things that we're going to feel most in the coming days is a forum where we want to look at all the various elements, cost elements, and how we can streamline, by way of suggestion, how these can be streamlined. We'll be bringing into a forum, of course, GPHA, GSA, GMA, and all the other players, and where we can have an honest and open discussion as to the solution.
In response, the Director General of GPHA, Brigadier General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulono, welcomed the initiative and pledged his support to engage the Chamber whenever consultation or collaboration is needed on matters that advance the interests of Ghana's shipping business and wider maritime community.
If there are areas of collaboration or areas that you think we can come together to assist each other to help the program that we are supposed to serve, we are always available to support that direction.
Among other matters, the discussions touched on key industry concerns, such as the government's proposed 24-hour economy, the merit charges, expedited cargo clearance, and the need for more coordinated joint inspections by agencies involved in the cargo clearance chain.
The Ghana Shippers Authority has organized a sensitization workshop for haulage truck drivers in Tema as part of efforts to enhance efficiency, safety, and collaboration within the country's transit trade corridor. The event brought together key actors including representatives from the Shippers Council of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the Ghana Police Service, SIC Insurance PLC, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the National Road Safety Authority, Ghana Link Network Services, Ghana Private Road Transport Union, and the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions. The sensitization workshop aligns with the authority's quarterly fact-finding missions, ongoing since 2018, along major transit corridors to address operational challenges and promote regional trade cooperation with Sahelian countries. In a welcome address delivered on behalf of the Chief Executive Officer, Professor Ransford Jampo, the Deputy CEO in charge of operations, Prince Henry Ankara underscored the importance of the recently passed Ghana Shippers Act 2024 Act 1122, noting that the Act provides a legal framework to support the authority in coordinating the activities of service providers within the transit trade ecosystem.
This workshop, organized in line with Section 3J of the Ghana Shippers Authority Act 2024, Act 112, will focus on critical issues affecting Ghana's transit corridors to improve the compliance of haulage truck drivers with applicable regulations.
The Executive Secretary of JAPTU, Ibrahim Musa, lamented that concerns of haulage drivers are often disregarded, resulting in poor remuneration and morale. He urged stakeholders and policymakers to take immediate steps to improve their working conditions.
Our drivers are sacrificing so much to drive on terrible roads. They work long hours, they are poorly paid, and yet because these people you see believe that we need to contribute to move the economy forward, they have not given up on this work. So please, let us not make an situation more difficult for our drivers.
Chief Superintendent Alexander Kweku Obeng, Director of Education, Research and Training at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department and the Ghana Police Service, stressed the importance of enforcement in maintaining road safety standards.
We have seen a worrying trend of preventable crashes surging, and it's impacting on truck owners and their drivers in this country, particularly on our corridors.
The Deputy CEO in charge of Technical Services at the GSA, Sylvia Asana Owu, emphasized the authority's commitment to strengthening cooperation with JAPTU and other stakeholders, describing the association as a vital partner in transit trade facilitation.
Yeah, now that we have even been empowered by way of our acts to deal closely with your issues, I think you need to have that trust in us and believe that whatever your issues are, we will get down to business and work closely with the key stakeholders to resolve your concerns.
In his closing remarks, Principal Marketing and Corporate Affairs Officer at the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, Kennedy Mona, who chaired the workshop on behalf of the General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Dr. Kingsley Entwi-Boesiako, expressed satisfaction with the rich presentations from stakeholders. He emphasized that the sector players are united in their call for urgent and coordinated action to streamline operations within the transit trade ecosystem.
All these points to the fact that we are resolute and united in our conviction that something urgent must be done as far as our quest to streamline activities within the transit ecosystem and our trade corridor is concerned. All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week. We're now going for the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day segment has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is grounding. Grounding.
Grounding. In maritime terms, grounding refers to an incident where a vessel makes unintended contact with a seabed or shore, potentially leading to structural damage, environmental pollution, or even total loss of the ship. The International Maritime Organization classifies grounding as a serious casualty, especially when it results in hull breaches, immobilization, or necessitates external assistance. Such incidents are often attributed to factors like poor navigation, inadequate bridge team management, or mechanical failures. Such incidents are often attributed to factors like poor navigation, inadequate bridge team management, or mechanical failures.
And now straight on to our health and safety tip for the week. And tonight or this week, we're taking a look at decompression chambers. Decompression chambers.
Decompression chambers. Decompression or hyperbaric chambers are used to treat divers suffering from decompression sickness. They stimulate underwater pressure to help divers safely eliminate nitrogen from their bodies. Gradually reducing pressure in the chamber prevents complication from decompression sickness. These chambers also allow medical professionals to monitor and treat divers with oxygen and other necessary care.
Right, straight on to our discussion for tonight. And tonight we're taking a look at how to sustain Ghana's closed fishing season, the science of it, the policy of it, and indeed the future of Ghana's fisheries. And this discussion will be centered or examine the scientific, economic, and policy implications of the closed season, the risk of non-compliance with fisheries laws, and the potential solutions to balance conservation with efforts to, get the livelihoods of the fishers or fisherfolk, right on point. Now, with us tonight for this discussion, Mr. Kofi Agboga, who is the director of Hempuano. Hempuano is an organization we've all heard of, and they are doing so well. He's here tonight to shed some lights on this particular subject and share some perspectives as well. Also with us in the studios, Madam Esi Boda-Kwesin, who is Director in charge of Marine at the Fisheries Commission of Ghana. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome. And good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening.
Awesome. So let's begin particularly with Mr. Agboga and find out from you whether there's any scientific rationale, if you think, with respect to this close season thing that we have been practicing over the years?
I would say emphatically yes, because normally the Fisheries Commission collects data on fish landed.
Right.
And I dare say that within the West Africa sub-region, Ghana has one of the best data collection aggregates in our repertoire. And therefore, since 1950, Ghana has been religiously collecting data on the fishes, particularly the small pelagic. So it is easy to show a trend of what is happening in the sector. So with the science, we see a lot of things. And all the data is coming from the Fisheries Commission. So that is what we work with.
Now, in terms of sustainability, how does the close season contribute to fish stock recovery?
Well, over the years, we have seen that our fish stock has dwindled and is teetering at the brink of collapse. Way back in 1996 or thereabout, the total that we landed was around 274,000 metric tons. Today, we are hovering around 22,000 metric tons.
Right.
This gives reason for some drastic measures to be taken. And if you look at our Fisheries Act of 2002 Act 625, it allows the ministry or the commission to declare close seasons in order to sustain the fisheries and make sure that fish that are pregnant or are buried with eggs, the eggs are released into the water to become the next cohort of fish in the sea. And like I've always said, or we know from science, one fish can lay up to 50,000 eggs. So if you eat one pregnant fish, it means that you have eaten 50,000 plus one. Yes, you have eaten 50,000 plus one fish. So basically that is what is happening. And over the period, during that season when they are laying their eggs, that is where they become so weak and fragile. You know what happens to a 9-month-old lady. And that is where our fishers cash in. They call it the bumper season. They clean everything out of the sea. And over the period, this is what has happened to us. As we continue to fish the pregnant fishes, we are eating our babies in the future. And that is where we are today.
Right. Okay, so let me come to Madam Kwesing. And we're told that this year's close fishing season starts from the 1st of July to the 31st of July for inshore fishers, and up to 31st of August for industrial trawlers. Now, one major issue that has come to the fore is the exemption of artisanal fishers. What's government's justification or the Commission's justification for exempting artisanal fishers from the close season?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our cherished viewers. I must say that I cannot really know the justification of the President or the Honorable Minister declaration for exempting the artisanal subsector from the close season. But I believe that they might have done their own research and investigation. My minister is coming from a fishing community. I'm also assuming that they may not just get up and decide that they are exempting them. They might have done their own studies. Aside that, I'm also assuming that maybe during the campaign, the fishermen might have complained about the poverty they go through during the close season, the one-month close season, and the fact that most of them don't have any alternative livelihood. When it comes to our socioeconomic studies of the impact of the close season, we realize that 80% of them don't have any alternative livelihood. It's all about the fishing. So when you close the season, they go through poverty and they are not able to meet their social responsibility. Let me tell you a story. Once, interestingly, the fishermen, they don't want to hear anything about alternative livelihood.
Right.
In the early 20s, we wanted to introduce alternative livelihood to the fishers. So I was in Takoradi, and I went to two communities, the Fanti community and then the Ewe community. When I got to the Ewe community, it's like they were enthusiastic about the whole thing. I mean, they welcomed me nicely, and they were prepared to go into it. But with the Fanti community, my brother, the man just looked at me and said, Madam, why can you wano? Opofosunyo so menkanyan prakuden.
Yeah.
Why should I go into pre-grade? I'm a fisherman. Even with this aquaculture for food and job, we are encouraging them to go in. They don't want to. They can't wait for their fish to grow. So I think they have not just gotten up to declare that there won't be close season for the artisanal fishermen. They have their own investigation. They've done their own studies. And like I'm talking about, the fishermen, they don't want to do anything. It's all about fishing. And the fact that when we give the relief items, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. So I think that is why they decided that they will be exempted from the close season.
Now, in terms of balancing conservation with the goals of economic needs of artisanal fishers, how's the Fisheries Commission, going about it? Because for me, if you ask me, I would have said that, okay, if some of the fisher folk are adamant in terms of accepting the fact that they must, go on a break to allow for the fishes to, grow and all that. There must be some element of education and sensitization, drumming home the need for them to appreciate the fact that this is for their own good. And maybe some strict enforcement, surveillance around the area to ensure that they comply and all that. That perhaps would have helped. But how are you dealing with the issue of
before the
balancing?
Closing, we did a lot of consultation.
Yes.
We didn't just get up one day and say we were going to implement close season. We did a lot of consultation, and they agree. Yeah. But you will not have 100% agreement.
Right.
There are few who will not say no. Yeah. So for us, all is not lost because we are scientists. So if Madam is saying that there's no close season, we have to find an alternative way to reach the same results. So already, we're not implementing the close season alone. We're doing it with moratorium. So now we have 3-year moratorium running to reduce efforts on the resources. We also have another measurement we are going to implement. The documents are already almost ready. Reclassification, where it puts a cap on the size of the canoe.
Right.
Already, Madam has been talking about closed areas. So as scientists, we have already identified...
When you say Madam, that's the minister?
Minister, yes, Honorable Minister. Is already hammering on closed areas. So we have already, as scientists, identified some of the areas that we think are vulnerable, like the spawning grounds and the feeding and nursery grounds and the resting spots. We already know where they are. So we are planning, we already know where they are. We are planning that then those areas will be earmarked for closed areas. Just that the closed area is a long-term solution to biodiversity protection and also the habitat as well. Instead of, for closed season, it's just a temporary 1 month.
Right.
And it's done.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well, let me come to Mr. Boga and find out from you whether you think the exemption of the artisanal fishers would derail the impact of the closed season.
Yeah, it will greatly delay the recovery process. As Madam AC was speaking, what went through my mind is if the president and his team have done any research which has a scientific basis, they should have told us what it is.
Right.
Poverty in the fishing communities alone is not enough justification. She herself said that it's only a minority of fishermen who are not happy with the close season.
Right.
Perhaps they, if you come from the negative point, you can always give very hard punches and maybe have a loud voice and you'll be heard. So if we say we are exempting artisanals from the close season, I've already said that we are having the close season to ensure that we have more fish in the sea for these same artisanal fishers to harvest in the future. If we continue by exempting artisanals from the close season, our fishery will crash.
Right.
And when it crashes, fishermen are the ones who will be the losers. Farmers farm. It takes a while before they get their products.
Right.
Fishermen go to sea for 11 months. To rest for 1 month, if they are mindful of that, can do a lot of other kinds of savings. You know, everybody works and you take a break.
Yeah.
And the sea needs that break to replenish. But if we continue to fish hard, within the next 5-10 years, these small pelagics, which is the mainstay of all coastal economies and the fisheries, will no longer be there. What will those fishermen who are kicking against the close season, or the policy of exempting the artisanals from not going to sea, what will this mean to us? We have laws in the country. The directive principle of state policy enjoins everybody, including the president, to take good due care of the environment. Ensure that we safeguard the environment and have a sustainable livelihood. If we continue this route, and it is only a few fishermen who are kicking against this, and government buys into it, government will be the one who will have to pay for what is going to happen. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but I bet you in the next 5-7 years, we will have real crisis on our coastal landscape, where fishermen will have to leave their communities and find solace and livelihood somewhere else. This is a source of worry. To conserve the fish in the sea means that we should allow them to reproduce. The season where they will have to reproduce, we are saying that go and catch them.
Right.
What are we going to get after the season has been opened? Look, we were very careful in crafting all this close season policy to allow the trawlers to go for 2 months and then the artisanals to go for 1 month. Technically, for the period of July, August, September, all vessels must be anchored somewhere to allow the biological process to take on. But we also consider the poverty levels in this thing. Fishers must survive. So we say, look, just stay for 1 month. And that 1 month is the critical period where they are laying the eggs into the water. Go catch them after they have given birth. So one person will catch you, we have 50,000 in the water. That is fine. But to say that let us allow them for that 1 month, we continue. I brought some graphics here, but I don't know whether we can show. You will notice that if we go the route we are going to crash. If we allow the fishers to observe the close season, you will see that the recovery, you can see the green lines going
up. Small pelagic.
It fluctuates because environmental conditions, how much effort they
with projections of up to
2040.
Wow.
But if we say the artisanals should continue to fish during the close season, look at how the red line is going. If it touches the black line at the base, it means that there's no more fish in the sea. And this is where we are heading to with this policy. So in our letter to the president, we urged him to reconsider that decision to allow the fishers to exempt. What is important is that, look, let them stay at home. and find better ways of helping them out.
Yes.
In the engagements that Mamiesi talked about, I was lead. And you go to the communities. My simple question to them is that if Shatawale is coming to your community this December, and you know this May, that Shatta is coming in December, and you don't have money, what will you do? They tell you that we will save. We have not inculcated the culture of saving into the fishermen.
Yeah.
I tell you that fishermen are richer than farmers. Because every day they go out there, they get something.
Yeah.
Farmers will have to wait
until harvesting.
Look at the cocoa sector.
Yeah.
You grow your cocoa, maybe you have to wait for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, so there are other innovative ways of looking at the issue. For me, government spends almost $50 million on subsidies in the premix sector.
Right.
If you divide the $50 million by 12, you get about 4-point-something million. If that 1 month, fishers are not going to see, you save that, you can easily give this money to anybody who identifies himself as a fisherman.
Right.
But before you do that, you must do your background where who is a fisherman, you
right.
know them, you get their numbers.
Like
You can easily buy Momo or something.
Yeah.
Give them some small monies. This business of going to buy rice and sharing to fishermen and a cup of oil and things has always resulted in a chaos. And for me, it is a procurement issue. Some people will go and buy 100,000 of bags and only 1 cup gets to the fisherman. I mean, it is unacceptable. And government should listen to what we are saying. Right? Before that time comes when we say that we have lost it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just to add to what my brother is saying, and the Honorable has said the exemption is for just this year.
Okay.
This year, and we are still going to collect our biological data and socioeconomic data.
Right.
And then we will do the analysis and then find the difference or the impact. Is it significant?
Right.
When they are fishing and when they are not fishing.
Okay.
Then we can come out with recommendation for her. So it's just for this year.
Right.
Yes.
Just for
Just
this year.
year.
So
Yes.
are we assured that next year
That's why I'm saying that we are going to do our studies
Right.
and then we'll come out with recommendation.
My brother, if I may cut in,
Right.
if you allow them to go this year, it will be very difficult to
stop them
tell
next
them
year.
next year that they cannot go. I can assure you.
Right. That's the step government is taking. Let's see how it pans out. Indeed, I just want to find out from you, with respect to the industrial trawlers and the inshore fishers going on the close season, how are you going to be able to ensure effective monitoring that they comply with the directive?
Yeah, for the trawlers, they all have VMS on their vessels.
Okay, that vessel
it's easy to
tracking
monitor
monitoring,
them.
okay.
Yes, easy to monitor them. Aside that, we have observers. And if you don't have observer on board, you can't move to sea. Yes, it can't just get up and go to sea. And for the the semi-industrial, they are at the regional level. So we have our regional officers who are monitoring them, and they cannot go. Yes, and we have our enforcement unit as well. During this time, they are deployed to the various landing sites.
You mentioned something about perhaps cushioning the fishers along the line so that they are able to comply and stay at home. Is there any social protection or intervention to support the fishers during the close season? Is there anything of the sort?
Not really,
Okay.
aside the relief item that we do give to them.
The relief items is what he mentioned about as
Yes,
the rice and oil.
rice and oil and all those
Okay.
things.
All right. And what has that impact been? Has it been, would you describe it as successful?
Well, yeah, it's been successful because when we go, we don't distribute on our own. We give to the chief fishermen that they themselves have nominated as their chief fishermen. So we hand everything over to the chief fishermen to distribute to the fishers.
All right. In terms of enforcement mechanisms, what role do you think NGOs and government can play, as well as development partners, to ensure enforcement?
Yes,
and
for
support,
the trawlers,
mechanisms,
we have piloted EMS. That is awaiting scaling now. So
we are hoping that we have funds to do that.
Okay.
And once we do that, we know we can, because that one has camera footages. So whatever they are doing, you can view it there and then. So we are praying. And then we also need patrol boats. Patrol boat to do a sea inspection, to follow up, aside the EMS, the VMS, and the observers. Yeah. So we are just looking for partners to help us get the EMS going. And then we are also thinking of planning of getting VMS on all the semi-industrial vessels, as well as the canoes. Yes. It's something that we have put on the table and we are still discussing.
When you say you're looking for partners to help, what kind of help are you seeking?
In support of funding.
Okay.
Support of funding, so that we are able to roll out whatever we want to do.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the government can't do things alone.
Everything,
we need everybody to support. Before then, we have the Trump stop order came, we had USAID project that was supporting.
Yes.
But with the Trump stop work order came, we couldn't continue.
Right.
So we are it's still on the table.
So you've sent out proposals seeking this support?
Exactly.
And have you received any responses?
Not yet, but we are hoping.
Hopeful.
Yeah, that's all.
All right, Mr. Agbogba, let's see. Is there any legal or constitutional backing, for the enforcement of the close season?
The Act itself says that if a closed season is declared and you are caught fishing, the fine is from $500,000.
Yes.
1 million.
Right.
That is one. The Constitution itself, like I said, in Chapter 6,
$500,000, I beg your pardon, $500,000 to $1 million. Yes. I'm sure that's targeted at the industrial trawlers and...
Yeah, but what it is telling you is that don't go and do it.
Yeah.
It is telling you that don't go and do it. Now, for the industrials, they are easily controlled because if they have to move, they move largely from the Tema port. So once it is close season and they have all the gadgets, Mamiesi talked about the VMS, the AIS and the others. Once they set sail, you can sit in the office of the Fisheries Commission and you see them moving. So you can easily bring them to book.
Right.
It is the canoes that are difficult to track. But over the period where close season has been implemented, including them,
yes,
they have all stayed at home.
Right.
What they themselves are saying is that government should ensure enforcement of the rules after the close season and even prior to the close season, so that everybody obeys the rules and we have a sustainable fisheries.
Right.
The trawlers are not licensed to catch the fish we are talking about.
Yeah, okay.
They are licensed to catch the bigger fishes, the demersal fishes. But for the small pelagic fish, canoe fishermen are harvesting almost 70% of this.
Right.
And that is what is in crisis.
Yeah.
So our attention should be on the canoe fishers rather than the industrial fishers. The conundrum here is that I don't know how the commission is going to treat it. The inshores are also considered artisanal.
Right.
So if you ask the artisanals to go and fish during the close season,
you deny the inshores,
then it means that you are asking the inshores to not to go to sea. But they are catching the inshore, they are also catching the same small pelagics. So you are allowing one group to go and catch, whilst asking other group to stay at home. Or otherwise, you allow both the canoes and the inshores to go and fish.
Maybe the inshores, the artisanals, they have a better lobbying acumen.
It's not about lobbying.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah, it is about principle. It is about everybody is included. You cannot do it for one or do it for the other. Now, all we know is that artisanals are exempt from the close season.
Right.
Inshore, for this matter, are also artisanals because they are also fishing within the inshore exclusive zone.
Yeah.
They are also going after the small pelagics. Now, will you allow them to stay at home or will you allow them to go together with them? So, doing all these things, like I said earlier, we thought carefully about it and say, look, inshore artisanal, stay at home for 1 month.
Yeah.
Allow the trawlers to stay at home for 2 months. Then you all go together. But when you open the season, this is where we have to ensure that all the enforcement beats improve mesh sizes or increase mesh sizes.
Yes.
They should stop the light. They should stop the dynamite. They should stop the omo and gari and the cow dung. They should stop the whatever. This is a very critical issue. You cannot tell fishermen, go and comply, as the minister is saying. They should go and comply. They will not comply. You are not there to see what they are doing. Look, we know of issues where fishermen are fishing with light. And when the big Navy boat is coming, they see it from afar. They drop the generator and the light under the water. It is easy to go and buy another one rather than being caught. Because for them, when the Navy boat is coming from far, they see it. Yeah. They see them. Right. So they have to do everything to keep clean. You know, but sometimes it is this same, excuse my French, politicians. I know a few years back when canoes have been arrested with generators and light, and a politician led a crusade and they went to the Navy and said, return everything to the fishermen. This is order from the presidency. Wow. Now the police and the Navy people come to us and they cry. So all this work that we are doing, by the stroke of one political something, we lose face. So now they are even unable to enforce because they know when they go and arrest, a politician will come and say that, leave them, they are our people. So we need to be strict and straight with how we look at the issues. Going forward, we have become the beacon of a close season in a whole of the sub-region.
Right.
Last week in Korea, I was on a panel with the Sierra Leonean Minister of Fisheries. He said when she heard that Ghana had closed the season, she straight away went to her people and said, look, let us also close the season. Without any scientific basis. Yeah. But she was able to get them.
Understood
after the closed season, they themselves saw the gains. Personally, I have gone to Nigeria, I've gone to Benin, Togo, Liberia to preach close season, and people have bought into it. The countries have bought into it. Now we have taken 4 steps forward, and we are taking 6 steps backwards. And when we go to these international meetings, of course, next week we are in Togo to discuss the same issues.
Right.
And the question they put to us is that, why did you force us into close season? Now you are backing out.
Right.
And this is a big challenge that we have to answer. I wish that I would not be the one doing the answering, but someone. The Fisheries Ministry, we have been working closely.
Right.
I mean, for me, in the last 15 years, they know me very well in the fish. I'm there every day talking with all of them. Yeah. We are all, I mean, we move together. Last week we were together in some international So it's not as if we are throwing hard punches or doing some guerrilla civil society work. We are now partners.
Right.
All this EMS is talking, we have been behind trying to get them the support to put electronic monitors on their vessels and all that. We work together.
Yeah.
But where we have to tell them the way it is, we should, because we are speaking for the people.
Yeah.
We are speaking for the people.
Right.
I rest it here.
Right, so, yes, ma'am.
Industrial. They operate 2 gears.
Okay.
They trawl and they do pursening.
Okay.
But you can't be sure. The semi-industrial. And you are not supposed to trawl within the inshore exclusive zone. So you can't be sure who is trawling and who is doing pursening.
Right.
So to be on the safer side, ask them to step aside. And we are talking about canoe with outboard motors.
Right.
So that is why the semi-industrial are supposed to join the closed season with the industrial. They operate 2 gears.
Right. Right. Okay, so in terms of, monitoring and evaluation, how are you able to measure the impact? I know you say you do your research and collect your data every year. And in the previous years, I am certain that the artisanal fishers also took part in the close season. They also, stopped. So if we're going to have them to stay and continue business, it means that whatever data you'll be collecting this year, there's likely to be some element of variation. It will be varied because it won't be the same as if they were also
exactly
or previously what you have always done.
So let's explore that option.
Right.
Let's do our research, collect our biological data, do our socioeconomic studies, and see what happens. So let's explore that option and see, and that is exactly what we are going to do. And we'll come out with the analysis and the results, and then we'll give recommendations. And we are going to do that with the fishermen. So let's explore it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of stakeholder engagement, especially with the fishers, how is this being handled to ensure inclusivity and transparency?
Actually, we have an activity, stakeholder engagement, every quarterly.
Okay.
Yes. We meet the industrial subsector, the semi-industrial, and then the canoes. Yes, and we do it national level and regional level and sometimes the community level.
Right.
Yes, so we try to get everybody to be part of it. We have also something like fish-to-fish dialogue, where we meet in a large group and then we discuss issues pertaining to the sector.
Right.
So we try to get them involved. And there's no management measure that we have taken without involving them. Even with the management plan that we developed, we did it with them. All the documents we are using, we developed with them.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at, how to sustain Ghana's close fishing season. We're looking at the science of it, the policy of it, and indeed the future of Ghana's fisheries. With us in the studios doing the discussion tonight, Mr. Kofi Agboga, who is the director of Henpoano, and indeed Madam Esi Bodakwesin, who is the director in charge of Marine at the Fisheries Commission. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifu, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back. This is Iron Port here on Metro TV, and tonight we are taking a look at how to sustain Ghana's close season. We're looking at the science, the policy, and indeed the future of Ghana's fisheries. And with us in the studios, like I said, Mr. Kofi Agboga, who is the director of Hempoano, and then indeed Madam A.C. Bodakwesin, director Marine Fisheries Commission here with us. We're going to activate the phone lines right now. That's what I've been told. And so the number will crawl on your screen right now so you can call in. It is 0245834980. 0245834980. You can call in and contribute to the discussion, and we shall also be sharing your messages with the rest of the world. I've seen some of them come in thick and fast, and so very soon we shall be sharing some of them with the rest of the world. Before we went on a break, sir, I thought you wanted to make a submission.
Yeah, I was saying
a follow-up on what?
Yeah, I was saying that in our law we have what we call the precautionary principle.
Okay.
And at this point, that has not been activated. And if the Fisheries Commission says they are going to do some research relative to the artisanals being exempt, we should all be made aware of what kind of research it is about. What inputs can all of us make into it? We are in May now. June, July is just 2 months away. If we have not been able to come up with the profile or the structure of that research where we can all plug in and support. Over the years, all these data collection exercises during, before and after the close season, we have supported them. So perhaps if they have any plans on the table, we can all look at it and make inputs so that when we come back and sit here next year, we know that whatever data has been generated from allowing the artisanals to be not to be part of the close season, we can all say we did it together. That is what I wanted to say.
Okay, so I'll stay with you and find out from you what you think the long-term economic impact would be if we ignore, the close season.
Well, the consequences are dire. We are going to lose our fisheries. Fishermen will not have anything to behold. Their culture will be thrown out of the window, and poverty will stare everybody in the face. Let us remember that about 3 million Ghanaians, directly or indirectly, depend on the fishery. If we want to talk about the value chain and the downstream beneficiary, the numbers are huge, because these fish that we catch in our waters off Cape Coast or Winneba goes all the way to Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. And that is the fish that you can keep for a very long time and can travel long distances. And now fish processors and fish traders don't even travel those distances. With technology, they are able to send their fish by whatever means, and they get their payment
Yeah.
by Momo, etc. So all these things are going to be truncated if we do not have fish, and it will have repercussion on our children's education, because it is the women who are running the show when it comes to all this. So we are still pleading. If they say for this year, we'll wait and see. But if it continues like that, I don't see a good future for our small pelagic fisheries.
Okay. So this one says, how many artisanal fishers and canoes are being exempted from the closed fishing season? This one is from Godfred Beidutibu. Madam.
So for the canoe, we have a little over 14,000. 14,000. Then the fishers, according to our Canoe Frame Survey 2022, we have 110,000 fishers. 110,000 fishers.
110,000 fishers.
Yes, according to that survey.
So let's see. This one says, Zainab in Accra says, I like the point about social protection. Let's not just ban fishing. What are the fishers supposed to live on during the season? All right, that's Zainab's message to us. Amma in Takoradi says, this IFG rep is speaking facts. Science know the lie. If we spoil the sea today, what will our kids catch tomorrow? Okay. Now in Jamestown says, artisanal fishers want exemption, but complain fish no day. You can't eat your fish and have it too. Well, that's also now from Jamestown. And Kwame in Tema says, I can see this is a purely political initiative that undermines the science. We have to relook this strategy. Well, there are still a lot of them, but we'll come back. And let me come to Mr. Abuga and find out from you how might a collapse of a small pelagic stocks impact fishers, traders, and Ghana's food security. I think you've enumerated some of them, but if there are any that you would want to share with us, why not?
Can you repeat?
How might a collapse of small pelagic stocks impact fishers, traders, and Ghana's food security?
Well, you see, the small pelagics, like I said,
yes,
is the mainstay of our economy. When canoes land fish at the beach, some of the fish goes all the way to that poor man in the community as his token.
Yes.
When all these things are not available any longer, you can imagine what is going to happen.
Right.
That fish provides food security, job security, nutritional security, national security,
absolutely,
and so many other securities. Fishermen don't go and beg for job from government. They are their own employers.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the day when there is no fish and they all march to government and say, give us job. That is what we are looking at. Ghana's fishery, if you look at it in total, is about 750 million US dollars, or about 1% of our GDP.
Yes.
If we lose that, and like we have said, 70% of all fish landed in Ghana is by the artisanal fishers.
Yes.
So if there's no reason for them to go to sea, where are we going to? So the consequences of collapsing the fisheries is something that government will regret if it happens that way, because the pressure on government will be too much. The 1 month close season has an intended purpose, and that purpose is that by 2035, we should recover about 90,000 metric tons. And as we go into 2040, if we do all things right, we may go a little higher, although it will fluctuate because of climatic factors and others. But we see, even with these 4 years, the statistics, Fisheries Commission will tell you, there is a sign of gradual recovery.
Right.
And we should not take that for granted. The close season allows the male and female fish to come close together.
Right.
If we catch a lot of them, one fish will be here, one fish will be in Tamale. They will not have the chance to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So this is the challenge we are facing.
We need them.
We need them to be closer. That is
so
why during that season they come together and they migrate together.
Right.
So as the female lay the eggs, the male also fertilize it.
Right.
But now if there are no females, there are no males, then it means that we are not having our babies.
Right.
And if we don't, the coastal communities are the ones that are going to suffer in the first place. And government itself will now begin to feel the pressure.
Right. Okay, so this one says, I think it's from Linda in Accra. It says, can both guests comment on how local communities can be involved in designing the closed season rules? Right now, it feels top-down.
No, it's not. We engaged them before.
Okay.
And even with the closed areas, we are going to engage them. I told you before that there hadn't been any measurement that we have implemented without consulting them,
Right.
even the CSOs.
Yes.
Yampuan, we've been working with him.
Right.
So there's no way we'll do it on our own. We'll do consult them. So we didn't just got up and then.
So they've made inputs.
Yes, they did. Yes.
But what somebody would ask is that if they made inputs, how come that when it comes to implementation, some of them are running away from it?
You see, this closed season has a very long history. We went from coast to coast. Closed season topped the number of issues that fishers said, or fishers looked at.
Yes.
And they agreed that the closed season should be number one.
Right.
And this was way back in 2014,
Right.
not today. But to start, it was a gradual process. You have to put all the bolts and nuts in place.
Yes.
So gradually, and the minister said, look, then let us start with the trawlers
Right.
in 2016.
Right.
And gradually, we try to fine-tune all the processes with the scientific analysis. And it's a whole multi-stakeholder group that came out with all these July closed season for artisanal and July, August for. It is not only the ministry didn't do that. That one, I would say, it is a collective decision.
Right.
There may be a few dissenting views, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
And those dissenting views, it seems, are the ones who are carrying the day-to-day. Because for me, they are in the minority.
Yeah.
And I hope that fishers at home watching should come out and say that they are for or against. Or you can carry a survey and do whatever it is and see the response of fishermen.
Right.
Because they themselves are seeing some of the gains
Right.
from the closed season.
Right. This one, can both guests, okay, I think I'll take it now. Kojo Mensah in Takoradi says, please ask IFG how Ghana's policy compares with what's pertaining or happening in Senegal or Mauritania. What are they doing right?
Mauritania, Morocco since 1999 have been observing 3 months closed season. And guess what? Today, we go to those countries to buy our small pelagic fish. We import. And we don't want to go through that. Senegal did closed season for 3 years, and they saw 35% increase in their octopus populations. Guinea-Conakry fishermen are saying that, yes, the closed season is good for us.
Right.
We went around the sub-region, and the other countries are saying, yes, Nigeria and Liberia are ready to join the closed season. All of a sudden, there's a jolt. But what I'm saying is that the countries that have observed consistently the closed season, they are making gains.
Right.
And these are the countries that we are running to buy fish to come and feed our people.
Yeah.
There are small pelagics, including what we call when you go to the market, they call them salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon. It's salmon.
Yeah.
But it is
They are actually mackerel.
That is mackerel.
That is mackerel. Yes.
Ask the women, when they go, they say they like the Abidjan mackerel.
Yes, because that's sweet. That tastes sweet.
Abidjan and Ghana, we have the same seas. So you think that fish is coming from Abidjan waters? No, they are also importing from a specialized country. That is why theirs is a little different than all our women.
And that's also expensive. That one's also expensive.
So along the coast here, we have a problem. So immediately we went to Cote d'Ivoire. They say 2 years ago, Cote d'Ivoire joined us with the closed season. Last year they joined us. Now they are asking us whether they should quit. And this is the challenge that we face.
So when you went to Togo and they asked you that question about why you introduced and encouraged them to practice the closed season, and you are now trying to, what response did you give to them?
The question has not come to me directly.
Okay.
Maybe the minister and the executive directors of Fisheries. Next week we are in Togo. That question will come up.
Okay.
So they should prepare for it.
Right.
But if they need our support, we have to find a nice way of telling our compatriots in those other countries. Because last year, Benin and Togo have started. The first year, then all of a sudden. And even to convince Togo was very difficult.
Right.
The director of Fisheries was telling us, please come and help us to go and convince our minister. We from Ghana. Nigeria wants us to come on their public radio and television and speak to the issues for them, because they, the operators in the fisheries, when they talk, the people, so they want external voices to come and help them. Liberia is getting ready for all this. Then this is what we see. So we have to go and sit down, re-strategize. If they say it is only for this year, we hope so.
Right.
But we hope that next year they will have the temerity to go back to fishermen and say, well, we made a mistake. I'm saying this because during the election campaign, the government in power said they were going to double cocoa.
I don't even want to go into the politics.
Prices. I'm coming.
Yes.
But then when reality came, they realized that you cannot do it. The same way if they have told the people that, look, we will do the closes, and now we are showing them
we are faced with the reality.
They should be able to eat the humble.
Rashida in Keta, she sent in this way. She says, has the government considered closing the sea for different groups at different times instead of exempting anyone completely or everyone completely?
We have not really.
We consider that one. If you do it for different groups, it will be very difficult to monitor. It is the reason why it said all canoes sit at home for 1 month. All trawlers sit at home for 2 months. If you allow one to go and one not to go, you know what is going to happen. People will go behind and find all of that thing. So for close season, it is an easy management measure. Once you announce it, everybody accepts and agrees to stay at home for the period. And when the season is over, they all go. So yes, there are those considerations, and fishers have supported that policy.
But how would that have panned out? Because if you take a look at closing it for one side, that means there are people in the vast ocean, some people are operating somewhere in the waters and others are not. So where they are operating, that means that's being depleted, and then this particular side that's not being operated or that's not being harvested has the tendency to be replenished at the time, or how does that work?
This particular fish we are talking about, they migrate.
Okay.
And the fishers also chase them. So when they are going to the Volta region, fishers chase them to the Volta region. When they are going to the western region, they chase them to the western region. This particular fish is in our waters. They migrate all the way to somewhere Abidjan. They migrate all the way somewhere Benin. Then when they have finished their migratory cycle, where they are reproducing, they all come back to Ghana. Ghana is harvesting about 85% of the total within the West Central Gulf of Guinea. So if we don't catch, they will be there for us. You see. So these are not fishes that are stationary at a location that when you say don't go and fish here, you are only impacting just one group of people. It is something that is going back and forth. So you have to take into consideration all those things in order to come out with the exact policy.
Okay, so this one says, Atu in Nansuman, how does the plastic pollution problem fit in all of this? And how is government trying to save our fisheries? Plastic pollution.
In
terms of the survival of
Yes, for plastic pollution, it's not directly under
Fisheries.
Your purview.
Yeah, it's EPA, but then we support behind closed doors.
Right.
And talk to fishermen and do campaigns for them to bring their garbage when they go to sea. They shouldn't just drop them in the water. So behind closed doors, we do that kind of sensitization and education for the fishermen.
Yes.
Yeah. Fishermen will bring back their used plastics, but the volume of plastic that is coming from land into the ocean, that is very worrying. Now, what it does is that some settle at the bottom.
Right.
And when our fishers throw their nets, they catch more plastic than they catch fish.
Yes.
Plastic management is a whole governance issue.
Right.
It has to involve district assemblies. It has to involve attitudinal change from our homes, our schools, ourselves. Not littering the plastic, because if you throw a plastic outside this studio now, it will end up in the Kole Lagoon, and then it will end up in the sea. So we need education and also attitudinal change, and then our local government institutions should all get involved. EPA will be at the tail end, but what is that man who is collecting the garbage, or who is throwing away the garbage, or that child? Or that guy sitting in the car after drinking the water, throwing it on the street. Does he understand the implications?
Absolutely.
So these are the issues, and that is another whole game. But then there's too much plastic entering the ocean, and we need to do something about it.
How critical is this in terms of survival of fish vis-a-vis pollution? And some of them you find swallow and get entangled in these plastics, and that's kind of like depleting.
The consequences are many. When this plastic even gets into the ocean, they degrade somehow. And then we have smaller plastics that we call microplastics.
Right.
These can enter into the fish when we eat them. And these are carcinogenic, and so forth. So getting plastics out of the water is very important. The other issue is that in areas where there are bottom-dwelling fish, which we haven't talked about today, what we call the demersals, they spawn at the bottom, and in the rocks, and in all that. If these plastics go and cover or settle in these bottom areas of the ocean, then it means that that fish too will find it very difficult to reproduce. And all these things are contributing towards the decline in our fish. So
fish
it's
stocks,
a whole package we have to look at. Everybody must come on board. We must have a multi-stakeholder approach towards this. And then we can get somewhere with it. But I would say it is not going to be very easy.
Right. Let me come to Madam and find out from you what the Fisheries Commission roadmap for enhancing the scientific and regulatory basis for seasonal closures is moving forward.
Like I said, we'll continue to with our biological data collection and stock assessment during the period that we are not closing the season. We also do, like I said, we'll do stakeholder engagement. Yes, and present it to them. And we'll see how it goes. Then we'll do sensitization and dialoguing. And then we'll come to a consensus, what we want to do. After which we'll write the report and present recommendation from stakeholders.
You present the report to
Honorable Minister.
To the Minister.
From the stakeholder engagement.
Okay. Yes. So let's take a typical look at this year, for instance. Once the close season is done with, how long does it take you to put your report together and submit?
I don't think it will take that much time. Maybe, I say maybe 3 months, because they have to analyze the data and then come out with the report. So after the season is done, maybe 3 months. It should be able to come out with the report.
Okay. Yes. So going forward, finally, you would be able to confirm that the close season starts from the 1st of July through to 31st for inshore, and through to 31st August
for the trawlers.
Trawlers, industrial. Okay. All right. So let me come to Mr. Agboga and find out from you what we should be doing going forward in anticipation of the commencement of the close season in the next 2 months, or in the next 1 month, so 1.5 months, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, for now, I think that there should be a ramped up activity in terms of data collection across the length or the breadth of the coast to see exactly what is happening. First, we have to work with fishermen, collect the data. Sometimes we have to cut the stomach of the fish to show them the stages of the egg development and which month has the egg that is ready. All these things we have to do with the fishermen. It costs a lot of money. In times past, we from civil society and have supported the government in doing all these things. So that the fishers also feel that they belong to the process. We have to involve the women who sell the fish, and they have a lot of local knowledge, what happens during that season and all that. We involve everybody to understand the issues. We take the data. Fortunately, this year, artisanals will be exempt. So during that period, we also will continue to take data. And for me, what would be of interest is the size of the egg in the stomach during that July period when they have gone to clean up everything. Then we come back in August and see how much eggs are left to be shed. When we do a lot of these things, it informs the fishers better. It informs policy development better. And also it allows us to have some information which will guide us into the future, how we will do things. So, well, it is not a lost cause. It is something that the ministry and the government has decided. We cannot say we will not support it. It's there, but as CSOs, our duty is to talk about it. And that is why we are talking about it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Agboga, who is the director of Hempuano, and indeed, Madam AC Boda Kwesin, who is the director of Marine Fisheries Commission Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for obliging us and taking time off your busy schedules to come and help us discuss the issue of sustaining our close fishing season. We looked at the science, the policy, and indeed sustaining or future of fisheries in Ghana. We thank you so much. And indeed, we'd like to say big thanks also to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Well PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and we entreat you to watch the abridged version of Iron Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television GTV. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Iron Port. My name is Kennedy Mona. We wish you a super week ahead, and thank you so much for choosing us. Good evening.